Andrew Kiguel is the CEO, and he joins us now via Zoom. Andrew, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
You sound like Hal 100, just your voice. Just going to say, because I wasn't looking up when you talked, it jarred me a little.
Little Hal there.
I'm just going to let you take it on top, from the very top, about robots in daily life. Is this something that's actually happening in our lives?
Yeah, so our company has a very different perspective to robots. While most of our peers are building robots to really replace physical human labor, we're viewing robots as, in a sense, to interact with people for human interaction. And that could be at a retail store, could be a concierge, and it can even be a companion for someone at their home.
So talk about real applications. Give us an example of something front and center.
I can give you lots. We recently sold a robot to a family that has an autistic son, and the robot is there to keep that person company. We have found that often people on the spectrum interact really well with AI. Our robots have a vision system, so they can recognize people, objects, and situations, and that's a way for the parents to even monitor and have some sort of protection with what their son is doing. Think about a retail store. Imagine you go in and a robot is there, can greet you, point you to where the t-shirts are, what's on sale, and keep an eye on people. If there's an incident of theft, they can also alert the owners of the store. And of course, think about entertainment. The market for entertainment robots is massive. It's going to be 100 million plus in the next few years. So consider museums and theme parks, which are some other areas that we have sold robots into.
Andrew, with the advancement in AI, as far as the programming of, and we'll use the family that bought the robot for their autistic child. As far as the programming,
is programming the same as programming?
I'm sorry, I'm putting the wrong
emphasis is
on the wrong syllable.
Andrew, I'm sorry, but how much easier has AI made it to program this?
Things have become a lot easier, and because there's so many companies out there that produce open source AI, we find that it's easy for us to sort of build on top of those. So we build sort of our conversational layers and our different pieces. So you can still use our AI and say, you know, what was the GDP of the United States in 1950? But it can also recognize who you are. So, you know, hi, Sully, how are you? How's your family? How are you feeling today?
Like the robot I was married to for 22 years.
Yes.
Can I ask you, talk about genuine connections? Because, you know, this turns to be a tongue-in-cheek thing. It's been the subject of many movies. But is it really a thing? I mean, you look no further than perhaps Wilson in the movie Castaway,
sure.
Right, which at this point is 40 years old, probably a horrible analogy. But talk about that. Talk about the real human interaction and connectivity.
Well, let's take a step back and let's talk about loneliness. Loneliness is a worldwide epidemic. There's studies out that say anywhere from 25 to 50% of Americans suffer from loneliness, and that can lead to, you know, diabetes, cancer, strokes. And so in society today, it's absolutely possible that you can have these interactions with AI and robots that feel realistic and can sort of, I guess, you know, soothe that loneliness dilemma that the world is facing right now.
If you think in terms of addressable market in real life right now, I can think the addressable market is probably is close to infinity 20 years from now. But right this second, what are you staring at in terms of addressable market, and how do you get to profitability by looking at maybe something that's cost prohibitive or time prohibitive, or even having to sell the idea of it? Talk about that.
Right. I think the market is massive, and you can give me almost any thing on the planet and I can give you a use case. But let's just talk about retail. We saw when we first presented our robots at CES, and our robots are open source, by the way, so you can run any type of AI on them. We got 4 billion media hits in the month of January. And in fact, we got connected to you because we had this Suzanne Summers robot at a conference a couple of weeks ago. So to me, any retail store on the planet could have a use for a robot, for security purposes, to build foot traffic, to elevate a brand. I think any museum or theme park in the world could use robots. Imagine going in and walking into a hotel and there's a concierge there, and you can say, hi, and it can say, hi Sally, welcome back. And you can be like, can you please make a restaurant reservation at, Central for me tomorrow for people 7 o'clock. I'd like some extra pillows in my room. And the AI and the robot will communicate with you and get all that stuff done for you in the background. We're having conversations right now with some ticket kiosks in Vegas about setting up agents that will be able to talk to you. So, what shows are playing in Vegas tonight? Cirque du Soleil, other different shows. It can tell you about the shows, the ratings, and get you tickets. So, I mean, the use cases are really endless.
Andrew Kiguel is the CEO of Realbotix. Their ticker symbols XBOT and XBOTF. Andrew, can somebody call you and say, hey, I want the Angelina Jolie robot. How much is that going to cost me?
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Wink, wink. But can you do personal? You said Suzanne Summers, and she unfortunately is deceased. So can you make those types of robots for people?
The answer is yes, with permission. We don't want to tread over anything. But we, for example, had an inquiry from a famous religious group, and they wanted us to create a robot of their leader, and to replicate things like prayer hands. And they would use their own AI to talk about their religion. And so there's a perfect use case, and it's super easy to replicate somebody. You go to a laser scanner, you put your head in a box. It does sort of a 3D all around your face and sends us those dimensions, and we can create a mold out of that person's face. And in fact, we did that for Whitney Cummings a few years ago, and she created a robot head of herself that she used on a Netflix special.
Okay. Wow. So are you at commercialization now, or are you at sort of people dipping their toe in as you guys are still developing?
So most of the development is done. What we're doing now is trying to find the best ways to scale. We have not been advertising, but really there's just been influx of natural orders that have come in. I expect over the course of the next 12 months, we will start advertising and showing more revenue. But right now we're sort of at that stage of what's the most efficient way to build these robots at scale. But we are producing them. We're building 6 right now, and they are for sale if you go to the website.
Andrew, what about like animals or pets or things like that? Are there any requests like that?
Well, we thought about it. Our superpower, though, is making robots that look very human. We have got this patented skin technology. Like, our synthetic skin is so realistic.
Okay.
The AI is based on sort of companionship and interaction. We thought about things like dogs, but I feel like that's a bit of a step back for what our real superpower is.
Okay.
I got to say, obviously we don't have enough time today, but we need to get you in studio. And
this is a whole show.
This really is. Andrew Kiguel is his name, CEO Realbotix. Andrew, will you come back on with us, because this is some fascinating stuff here, and I think
what we've done before is, why don't you guys just do an interview with one of the robots? You don't need me.
I thought we just did.
I'm happy.
Come on.
Why don't we schedule an interview with one of our, one of our robots has their own social media, so we're happy to figure out a way to do that.
Andrew, can't wait. We'll set that up for next time. Andrew Kegel's his name.
Oh my God.
XBOT. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Good stuff. Really good stuff.
All right, keep it here. Much more to come with the Big Biz Show. Don't go anywhere.